Okay then, so today it's time to review the Nokia G22, the affordable smartphone from HMD Global, which also promises to be very fixable through Nokia's partnership with iFixit. This is an affordable smartphone which is unapologetically plastic. It has a plastic frame, a plastic back, and a Gorilla Glass 3 front. That's the not plastic bit of the phone. And when I say unapologetically plastic, I mean that. It's boxy, it's not trying to be super curvy and super sexy. It's just a functional smartphone which does what it says on the tin. It acts as a smartphone. Now, there are a few things that make this smartphone stand out apart from its alleged repairability. One of the key things that caught my attention is the fact that it's not running a MediaTek or Qualcomm chipset. It's running on a Terminator-like named Unisoc T606 chipset. This is not the best chip, but in the context of this device, in its price range, it does a decent job of keeping the device ticking. Now, when I say that keeping the device ticking, paired with the 4 GB of RAM, it's more than enough for most people. Whether you're using it for social media, taking pictures and sharing them on chat apps, or just watching video or browsing the web, this is a very functional smartphone that does the job well. The smartphone is running Android 12, but sadly Nokia have moved away from Android 1, and you do get a little bit of bloatware with the phone as it comes out of the box. Also, Nokia, as they have with previous models that we've covered here on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, promise monthly security updates, but I have not seen that in the 3 months that we've been using this device. Not only do we not get monthly security updates, we're often 2 to 3 months behind the Google security patch level. So really something that we should be questioning Nokia or Nokia's parent company, HMD Global, more about. This marketing, which is great, it sounds fantastic, but doesn't actually deliver the software updates they promise. And I say this from experience. We've seen other devices from Nokia with similar promises that don't deliver those security updates. So beware if you're considering buying this device. It's not always as marketed. Now, apart from that, as I said, it's a perfectly functional device which can handle gaming as well as all other daily use of smartphones. One thing that I was pleasantly impressed by was battery life. Whether it's the operating system, the tuned version of Android on the device, or the chipset, or a combination of that and the 5050 mAh battery that's in the device, I'm not sure, but in day-to-day use, the Nokia G22's battery life has been excellent. One thing I was also surprised by was how quickly it charges. So it supports 20-watt fast charging, which in this category of device is very, very fast. When I say this category of device, the recommended retail price in the UK is £169. That's around about $200 US. And considering that for that you get a decent all-round smartphone, it's good value proposition. Now, in terms of ergonomics, that squarey, boxy, unapologetic plastic experience is actually very usable. It's not a bad thing. And one thing that I did like was the fact that the fingerprint scanner, which is the safest way of locking and unlocking your phone, is built into the side of the device in the power button. This is not entirely dissimilar to what we've seen from other smartphone brands like OnePlus, like Xiaomi and others. I really do like that way of unlocking your phone. It's accessible and works well in my view. Obviously you can use Face Unlock and you can use PIN code if you wish to, but I think the fingerprint unlock functionality and the fact that you can have multiple fingerprints registered is really, really good. In terms of other ergonomics, it takes phone calls well, surprise, surprise, it's a phone, and it also has a headphone jack, which means that you can use that with wired headphones if you wish to. Long live the Courage port, especially in these mid-range smartphones. One area the Nokia G22 is a little bit lacking in is the camera department. Now, on paper, the main camera is a 50 megapixel unit. It's decent enough, but definitely not as good as other devices from Xiaomi and Realme in this price category. the camera is definitely an area they cut corners in. And I say the camera because the other two are token sticker cameras, as our friend Miriam calls them. A 2 megapixel depth sensor and a 2 megapixel macro camera. I didn't even bother using the macro modes in the Nokia G22. It's that bad from my first impressions. I think that just getting up close and personal with the main sensor is your best bet if you want something close to a macro shot. And that depth sensor really makes little difference to portrait shots. It doesn't really do great portrait shots. The detailing around objects is not great. You might as well just make sure you use the main sensor well to get a decent shot. The selfie camera is nothing to shout out about. It's an 8 megapixel sensor that takes semi-decent pictures in good lighting conditions, but in low light does definitely suffer. When it comes to taking video, that selfie camera can take full HD video, but think again if you're thinking of buying this phone for vlogging. The quality is a little bit lacking in terms of sharpness, and there seems to be little or no stabilization in that selfie camera. The rear 50 megapixel sensor can take full high definition video, 1080p video at 30 frames per second. It does have slightly better electronic image stabilization, but again, it's not a proper camera for full-on YouTube creators, especially now that the appetite for 4K video is growing amongst the average YouTube viewer. And if you're one of those average YouTube viewers, do consider subscribing to the Tech Travel Geeks if you're watching this video. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, and anything else we think makes the travel experience better. The Nokia G22 is a good value device. Some people may find the Nokia brand reassuring, but nowadays HMD Global's brand, Nokia phones, are pretty much similar to other branded phones from China. This isn't a proper Nokia phone. It is obviously a device from a Chinese ODM which has had a Nokia sticker stuck on top of it, and a bit of a tweak of the operating system on it. If you're looking for better value for money, you're likely to find that in Xiaomi's equivalent smartphones or Realme's equivalent smartphones. But we can't really recommend this in terms of overall value for money. If Nokia is an important brand to you, and if you just want a no-nonsense smartphone and smartphone photography is not important to you, the Nokia G22 may be for you. If something like security updates are important to you, we would definitely recommend you stay away from this smartphone, because in our experience it's not had the love and care from HMD Global it should have had. So it's a mixed bag. The Nokia G22 may be the phone for you, but we can't outright recommend it. If you agree or disagree with us, let us know in the comments. It's always good to have a little flame war to get those YouTube analytics and signals to boost our video as much as possible. And if you like this video, as I mentioned earlier, you could subscribe to us and watch more of our coverage of consumer electronics and gadgets, which we think make the travel experience better. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye from us.